Hi, I'm M.R.AshwinPrabhu. I'm a Microsoft integration MVP for the last couple of years, 2015 and 2014. I'm based in UK. I'm an independent consultant specialized in BizTalk server and services. This is part 2 video, demo 2, where I'm going to show how to deploy Logic App from Visual Studio. In part 1 video, demo 1, where I've showed how to implement request response pattern in Logic App. I've implemented request response using HTTP listener, BizTalk XML validator and BizTalk transform services API. Along with the use case, I've also showed how to implement role-based access control feature of Azure in Logic Apps. I'm doing this video because during my last presentation for Integration Monday web sessions run by Integration User Group, during the crucial part of the demo, my audio was not clear. I hope these videos which I'm creating now will be helpful for the people who were not able to hear my audio properly during the web session, and also it will be helpful for the people who are listening it for first time. Let's move on to the demo. Just to give a background, in Integration User Group, we had a chance to have a question and answer session with Mr. Joe Twist, Senior Product Manager from BizTalk Services team in Microsoft. Some of the community members asked, is it possible to have the Logic App facility in Visual Studio? For the people who are not familiar with Logic App is a web-based graphical model tool to implement workflow for integration services in cloud. So it's all web-based, it's all browser-based. So the community member asked, is it possible to have this implementing the Logic App in Visual Studio? For which Joe Twist asked, how many people are really interested in? There were so many yes and so many interests were shown from the community during our Q&A session. Just 3 days from then, during Build 2015, Microsoft's Logic App team showcased how to deploy this Logic App from Visual Studio. What are the advantages of using a Visual Studio? Before saying that, as of now, the Visual Studio only supports the JSON version of the implementing Logic App. We don't have graphical way to implement Logic App through Visual Studio. If you are familiarized with JSON and if you are familiar to implement Logic App through JSON, you can use Visual Studio as an authoring tool. Otherwise, you can use Visual Studio for adding your code into SourceSafe and also to deploy directly from Visual Studio into your cloud. Let's move on to my virtual machine where we can see how to deploy Logic App from Visual Studio. This is the Logic App which I've developed in the part 1 of the video. What I'm going to do is I'm going to deploy a same version with a different name into cloud, just to give you an idea of how to deploy a Logic App through Visual Studio. For the purpose, I'm just going to take the JSON code from this Logic App. Go to the Visual Studio 2013. For deploying Logic App from Visual Studio, you need to install Azure SDK 2.6 for Visual Studio 2013. Once you have installed, you will get a template like this under Cloud Azure Resource Group. When you click OK, you will get Azure templates as listed here. You can also deploy Visual Logic App and API app. For this purpose of demo, I'm going to select Logic App from this list. Click OK. When you click OK, this will create a template of files, not many, just few of the files, JSON and the PowerShell files, which are required for you to write your Logic App and also deploy the Logic App into cloud. It uses PowerShell script. This PowerShell script to deploy. The interesting things for us for this demo is under template folder, the logicapp.json file. Click on it, double click on it. This file has 4 sections: parameters, variables, resources and outputs. If you expand the resources section of the code, under definition, you have a placeholder. This is where you have to implement your code. The expressions what you have to define for writing your logic app has to go between here. In this case, what I'm going to do is remove this placeholder and paste the code which I've already copied from the code view of this logic app. That's it. Save it. If you want to add this logic app into your source if, you can do that. What I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to right click, I'm going to deploy this code. It's as simple as this. Right click, demo, go to the new deployment, click on it. If you're not logged in, it will ask you to log in with your appropriate MSDN subscription. Once you have logged in, these values will be auto-populated. Select the appropriate resource group where you want to deploy this logic app. Select this. Before click deploy, click the edit parameters button. Click on it. You have to provide the name for your logic app. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a name called request response, let's say 09 from Visual Studio. And you have to give the appropriate service plan. I've already created a service plan in my portal. I'm just going to reuse the existing service plan. Select this, save it, and then click deploy. Sit back and wait for the deployment to happen. As I said, it uses this PowerShell to deploy. In the output window, you can see the status of the deployment which is happening. After a while, after not long, after a minute or so, this will be deployed into cloud. We'll wait and see what's happening. It's not going to take long. Now it created the resource group. The template is valid. Now the deployment has been successful. As you can see, this is the success message. If you go back to your portal, you can either choose active or browse. Click logic apps. This will list you the created logic apps under your subscription. This is the one which we created now. That's it. It's as simple as that. So what it shows now, let me explain that before I detail it. Now what this feature gives to us, what it gives to me and gives to us is, it gives us the direction in which Microsoft is moving towards. Yes, as of now with the Visual Studio, you don't have the graphical model way, which is most useful way or the most frequent used feature. As of now, people prefer to use the graphical model way to define the workflow. So as of now, it is not there, but what it shows is the direction in which Microsoft is moving towards. Is community members or people have shown interested in using Visual Studio for developing the logic app. Microsoft heard it, they have developed one, but as of now the functionality is restricted. You can only use logic app for the JSON purpose. It provides the intelligence for the JSON. It's not going to help much unless you have the full featured the graphical model way. But it shows the direction in which the Microsoft is going towards. Hopefully in near future you will have the graphical model option as well. Hope this session was useful. Demo was useful. I'll also give the when I upload this URLs, I also give the actual the URLs or the links for the Integration Monday videos, which has been recorded by the BizTalk 360. And once again, thank you for your time in watching these demos. Hope my demos are useful to you. Thank you.